So you want to start a profitable online business, but you already have a full-time job, or you already have kids at home with you all day, you have other things going on in your life, and you're just thinking, how in the world am I going to find the time to build this business while I have all of this stuff going on at the same time? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I actually got this comment from Lucy a while ago, and she was asking exactly this. She has a full-time job, she's busy like a lot of us are, and she's obviously trying to grow this online business, but it does feel sometimes like you are not ever going to find the time when you're not super tired to actually work on this business that you're trying to grow. I already created a video on how to stay organized, how to create a plan, and just kind of how to create that, you know, business and content plan so that you can make sure that you do get stuff done in your business and that you continue to grow. So I will link that video down below. And I also did a video recently on how to stay motivated, how to get that motivation when you feel like you have absolutely no motivation and you want to create content, but you're just lacking that feeling. So that's a video for you as well that will be linked down below. And today we are going to talk about how to find those kind of pockets of time so that you can still work on your business and grow while having a full-time job or kids or whatever your circumstances may be. Because I do think, you know, everybody's got different circumstances. We don't all have equal opportunities, do we? It is different for everybody. Everybody has different lives, different upbringings, different, you know, schedules. And whilst I do think, you know, your circumstances will make it harder or easier for you to grow an online business, that's just a fact. Obviously, it will be so much easier for you to grow an online business if you do have a lot of time to dedicate to this, if maybe you don't have a job or you just have a lot of time on your hands to use it for this online business. It is going to be easier. If you don't have a lot of that time, it will be a bit harder, but it doesn't mean you should let that circumstance stop you. It doesn't mean you should let that feel like this is an impossible thing to do for you, because it definitely is not. It's definitely doable. Even if you have little time, you can grow an online business. Yes, it might take longer, it might take more effort, but it is possible. And in time, the more you grow this business, the more you'll be able to maybe replace your 9-to-5 income and then, you know, be able to do this full-time, this online business thing, and then have so much more freedom in your life, which is exactly what happened to me, and that's exactly what I want to help you with in this video. I actually think starting an online business while you already have a 9-to-5 is actually a really smart idea, and just a better one in terms of risk, because if you just quit your job, you have no plan, you don't know how you're going to grow this business, how you're going to make money, it's just going to make it really, really stressful on you. So it is such a smart idea to start this online business on the side, and then once it reaches that level where you're happy at with the income from it, then you can obviously quit your 9-to-5 and focus solely on this and, you know, kind of boost its growth after that. So before I started doing this online business thing full time, I was actually a translator. That's what I did. Kind of 9-to-5. I did work from home, but it was a 9-to-5 basically. And during that time, I had already started this blog, cappuccinoandfashion.com, but I wasn't really posting much. I was barely doing anything on it. I had a lot of anxiety at the time. I had this fear of failure, fear of what others might say. I didn't even tell anyone I started a blog in the beginning, not even my current husband. And I just kind of played it very, very safe. So I kind of had this blog or YouTube channel in the background. I just had this thought in my mind that, oh, if it ever grows, then I'll feel more confident to create more. If it ever makes money, that would be great. But it wasn't at all a focus of mine. I didn't even put a lot of effort into it. I was just kind of expecting it to get a bit viral or get something growing. And I would think I would invest more time after that happens rather than before, which is obviously not how you're going to grow a blog. You need to put in the effort before it starts growing. And then what happened was I had my baby and I just suddenly realized I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that 9-to-5 anymore, because that would mean I would have to put him in childcare for, you know, a 9-to-5 job for a full day basically, and miss all of that time with him. And I didn't want to do it anymore. And so I feel like that gave me a really big push to focus on this online business a lot more. And I just realized I don't want to wait anymore to see if it ever kind of magically goes viral or starts growing. I wanted to put in the effort to make it work as soon as possible. So that's what I did. I truly think it is such a big mindset thing that makes the biggest difference. So I started working more seriously on my business, trying to learn as much as possible from free content, because I didn't want to invest in anything at that point. I didn't get any courses until way later in the game, which I kind of regret, because I feel like I would have gotten there so much faster if I did, but you know, live and you learn. Yeah, I created a plan and I made it work. And eventually it took me 8 months from when I started to put in that consistent, you know, serious effort of growing from 0 monthly page views all the way to 100,000 monthly page views. And that really meant that I could make an income from this, and I could, you know, not have to have that 9-to-5 job anymore. And that was just the ultimate goal for me. So this pretty much happened while I was on that maternity leave at home with my baby. And the crazy thing is that I had way less time after I had my baby to work on that, you know, on this online business thing than I had before him. Like before him, even though I had that 9-to-5, looking back, I actually had a lot of time that I could dedicate to my blog, but I didn't. Like I could have woken up an hour earlier, I could have stayed up an hour later to work on my blog, even if it was just 30 minutes to an hour a day. That's still a lot of time in a week to work on your blog. You could still put out 1 blog post per week, or even 2 blog posts per week once you kind of get going and get in that flow. And I will do a separate video on exactly how many posts per week you need to create to grow faster. So that will be coming as well, or it might already be up, but I'll link it down below in the description box. But yeah, the time I actually had once I had my baby to work on this blog and work on this business, it was only during nap times, which were very sporadic, which was only like maybe an hour or 2, it kind of depended, and then after his bedtime. So that's pretty much the time I had to work on my blog. And yes, I was tired, because you are tired after a day with a baby, but I do think having that hunger for it, having that kind of, you know, really deep desire to make this work is what's going to motivate you to actually stay disciplined and do the work on your blog, even if you don't always feel like it. And the video I did on how to stay motivated, I think that's going to really help with this as well, so it will be linked. So I'm going to give you 5 steps that I think are really important to make this work for you. If you have a full-time job, if you are a busy mom, if you're just trying to make this work and you have limited time. The first step is to have a very clear business plan and strategy. So first of all, you're going to need to know how you're going to attract your audience, what platforms you're going to use, what content you're going to create for them. And it truly is so important when you're creating, whether that's a blog, a YouTube video, an Instagram post, whatever it might be, it always needs to go back to your audience and what they want, what they need help with, what they are struggling with. Most often your, you know, your platform, your channel, your blog, it will not actually be about you. It will be about your audience, of course, through your own experiences and your own stories, but it is mostly about them. It's how you can help them. So you do want to figure out how to create content for them and how you're going to, you know, what kind of platforms you will be on. And I don't recommend focusing only on things like Instagram or Facebook. Don't just pick one of those social platforms, because those are platforms that you don't own, and they're not long form. It's just kind of that short form content, which is not, I'm not saying it's a bad idea to start on Instagram. I'm just saying it shouldn't be your sole focus. I do recommend having a more long form platform as well, such as a blog or a YouTube channel, or maybe a podcast, obviously depending on what you want to do. Because the next thing after you attract this audience and you start getting views is how you're going to build that trust and connection with them, how you're going to nurture them, how you're going to help them through your content. And then the next thing that you need to know in your kind of business plan is how you're going to monetize this. Yeah, so try to think from the very beginning how you want to make money. And it doesn't mean you're going to know from the very beginning everything, because you're not. You will likely change this in time, but it is important to have a goal, a monetary goal that you're trying to reach with your blog, your channel, whatever it might be, and how you're going to get there. If you want to sell a course, how many courses do you need to sell a month to get to that goal? Or if you want to do this from ads, how many views do you need to get a month to get to that goal? Yes, I think it's really important to have a plan to monetize, even if you're not making any money from your blog yet. Yeah, so that's having your business plan. Even if it's not perfect, don't stress about it. Just can have a rough idea of what you are actually trying to do online. The second step is to have a clear, you know, daily or weekly schedule that you're trying to follow. And for this, I actually recommend using Trello boards. That's what I use, and it really, really helps me. You could create notes like to-do lists on your phone. I actually have a video separate on how to stay organized as a content creator, as a blogger, YouTuber, whatever it might be. And I share with you exactly what my lists look like, how I kind of plan them out for the month, week, for the day. So I will link that again, because I think that would be really helpful to see, to kind of see everything laid out, if you know what I mean. And then step 3, which is probably one of the most important ones, is to find your own pockets of time. Because You might say to yourself, well, I don't have time for this business. But if you really look at it, you probably do have a lot of time that you're using in other ways, but could be put to use to grow this business. One exercise that you can do is to try maybe for a full week to write it down on a notepad, on your laptop, doesn't matter, just write down. Try to do maybe hourly what you do every single hour in those days in a week. Just do this exercise, fill that in, and see how you are actually using your time. And I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, because I do this too, but sometimes you find yourself mindlessly scrolling on Instagram for an hour and then realizing, well, I could have used that time to actually write a blog post, but instead I just scrolled on Instagram, which is obviously not a productive thing to do. And I'm not saying you need to replace every single thing, you know, that's not super productive with working on your business, because that's not sustainable. You do need that downtime as well. But I do think you will find lots of little pockets of time that you could use for your business, even if you are busy, even if you have that 9 to 5. But this exercise can make you realize, oh, I actually do have 1 or 2 hours a day to work on this, or maybe I do have 30 minutes this day to work on this thing. And this can really add up. Even if it's 30 minutes a day, in a week that will be 3 hours or more. And I'll give you some examples of pockets of time, because you might be thinking, well, I don't know where I'm gonna find this time. But a few things you might be able to do, obviously depending on your circumstances, your lifestyle. You could, for example, try to wake up 1 hour earlier. This is something that has never really worked for me very well, because my son is not a regular waker. Like, sometimes he wakes early, sometimes late, so it's not a good one for me, and he might actually wake up if he hears me, but it might be something that works for you. So you could wake up 1 hour earlier and take that 1 hour to work on your blog. Another example is you could take 1 or 2 hours after your kids' bedtime, after your work, your full-time job. I mean, maybe after you've had dinner and a bit of, you know, downtime. You could take 1 or 2 hours to work on your blog. If you have kids, again, you could use that nap time, whether that's 1 hour, 2 hours a day. That is a lot of time that adds up, you know, long term. This is a really obvious one, but you could use your weekend to work on your blog. If you have a full-time job and you have no other time to dedicate to it, and you feel like after you come home from, you know, from your job, you're just so exhausted you cannot work on it, then maybe try using your weekend. And it doesn't mean you have to use your entire weekend and not do anything fun. Just maybe take on a Saturday, wake up early just like you would for your job, and do 3 or 4 hours of work on your blog, and then enjoy, you know, the rest of your Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. If you are a mom like myself, sometimes I actually do this. If I have something I really want to work on, maybe I will ask my husband to take Victor to the playground or just go do something fun in the morning, and I'll have a few hours to work on my business, on my blog, and then I will have the rest of the Saturday or Sunday to enjoy family time. So I don't think you need to sacrifice everything to work on this business, but just kind of sacrificing those little hours here and there actually makes a really big difference. Another pocket of time you might be able to find, if you are a mom who's actually sitting in her car a lot after, you know, school activities. I know people have afternoon clubs or things like that. So if you find yourself you're actually sitting in your car a lot, waiting in between these activities, maybe try to use that time in a productive way, because there are things you can do even from your car. Even if you don't take your laptop with you, you could do a lot of things on just your phone. You could write down the outline for a blog post on your phone. You could film some reels. You could film some short videos. You could maybe write captions for your future Instagram posts. There are a lot of things that you can do from your phone. It's just about, you know, truly wanting to find that time and to make it work for yourself. But I do think it is so important here to have a plan beforehand. Yeah, you will find those pockets of time, but have a plan on what exactly you're going to do with those pockets of time. Because say you have an hour to work on your blog, if you sit down and you're, you know, sitting down at your laptop and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do with this hour? That's not gonna be productive. I can already tell you, you're probably gonna, you know, waste a lot of the time, because I have done that in the past too. So what really helps me is to have a to-do list beforehand, so that I know exactly what I'm gonna work on. So okay, I've got this hour. With this hour, I'm just going to create Pinterest pins for my blog or whatever it might be. The fourth step is to try your best to create content faster. And this is something that's not going to come easy, and you know, at first it is going to take you a long time to create those first few blog posts, and that's fine. You will get better at it. It will get easier in time. But a lot of people actually waste so much time creating content when it shouldn't take you that long. And the reason why a lot of people take that long, and why I did that too, especially in the beginning, is because you are constantly over analyzing every piece of content you put out there. You're constantly maybe refilming those reels because you feel like they're not perfect. You're rewriting those blog posts because you're worried of how it might come across, what others might say. And that kind of overthinking, over analyzing, that leads you to take so much longer to create a piece of content than it should. But once you realize this and try to work on your mindset around, you know, that fear of what others might say, that's when it will actually get easier and it will get faster for you to create content. So that's a really big thing as well. And then the fifth step, or kind of thing that I think will really help you if you're trying to build this business while you already have that full-time job or have kids or whatever it might be, is to truly sit down and create a vision board for yourself. And I don't just mean put some cute pictures here and there. I mean actually think about it. Think about what you want your life to look like and why you're growing this business. Why are you doing this? How are you going to help your family? Or what is your life going to look like when you manage to turn this into your full-time job and you can quit your 9 to 5? What is it going to look like? Put that on a vision board. And whenever you feel unmotivated, you feel like you're too tired to work on this, look at that board and remind yourself of why you are doing this. Because that is honestly so important to keep you motivated, just kind of knowing why you're working towards this. Because otherwise you might just sit at your laptop and feel like, what's even the point of this? So when you feel like that, you can go to that vision board and remind yourself, oh, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm putting in the effort, even though I'm tired, because I wanted to reach that life. And I do talk more about this in the video on how to stay motivated, even if you don't feel like it. Honestly, starting and growing an online business is actually not that difficult. Like, it's not a difficult process. It's all about creating content for your audience consistently and then finding a way to monetize it. It's not that complicated. It's just that it takes time and effort. I do hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you are struggling with at the moment in your online business, and I will try my best to help you as best as I can. But I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.